what's up, guys? This is the first episode of International. I'm Steven.
I'm Nolan.
And in commemoration of this being our pilot episode, we are going to analyze all the pilots of the 9 comic-related TV shows, from Arrow to Supergirl, Jessica Jones, Daredevil,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All these great ones that we will be reviewing throughout the upcoming months, based on when the new season starts out. But until then, we will do a recap of what we think are our favorite episodes, starting with the pilots. So, as we saw, the only redeeming quality in this TV show, in my opinion, is the fact that Luke Cage is in it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Luke Cage here. He brings a little spice a little bit to the show because, I mean, Jessica Jones is all depressed most of the time and she's like gloomy, and that's like her character, I get that. But Luke Cage, he brings a little bit more action to it.
Yeah, and he's
like
like
chemistry, I guess.
Yeah,
you could say.
he's like funnily, like he's sarcastic and like a really like it brings that like kind of funny sarcastic personality to the table, and instead of just like, do you have any liquor?
Yeah, and I mean, Jessica Jones, most of the show, she's that in that like her character. I get.
Yeah, that's the character, but.
I mean, but I do like that scene
Come
where
on.
she picks up the car. That's a good scene.
Oh yeah, so, as you guys just saw, there's one scene where she picks up the car of this guy who she's trying to like coerce into going into a summons, and I mean, I thought it was funny, just because they had the whole like the kind of she thinks everyone else is like a moron kind of feel.
Yeah, and they also brought in how the regular mortals, I guess you could say, don't like superpowered people.
Which also ties very much into Captain America Civil War.
Yes. There's a lot of Easter eggs in Daredevil and Jessica Jones that lead to Civil War, about how the humans are starting to feel like they're almost like in the shadow of
the
supers.
Actually, we will tie back into that one later with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But, where they have the whole kind of like, you are the fault, it's your fault that all this stuff is happening, when in all reality, they're the people stopping it.
Exactly.
So I think the last thing that I think we have to agree on this is that the villain is almost too scary. Like, it's too weird of a concept.
It's so weird that, I mean, no parent would ever let their child watch it.
Should ever let their child watch this, because parents do. We watched it.
That's true.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, though, they take a generally not scary character,
Purple Man, like Blue Man,
Purple
Man. Like, I'm just a color. Like, you
Yeah,
don't expect anything bad from him.
Which I mean, in the comics, he's like creepy and eerie, and he has like a bunch of mind control powers which he uses, but he's not like
he's not Kilgrave.
Yeah, which they rebrand him so he's scarier than he was the first time. But yeah, that was a little overboard for the whole, hey, we need a good villain.
And especially in the first pilot episode, like, they really set the stone for, like...
What?
Like, how Kilgrave was, like, in her mind, almost. Like,
yeah, and, like...
Yeah, I mean, he kind of diluted, like, by this, after, like, by the end of the season, which we'll talk about later in future episodes. Like, how he starts to get a little more, like, I guess, real, because she starts to, like, talk to him and stuff, but now he's just really a memory, and it's, like, really freaky, because she's only seen him in a memory.
I don't even think you see his face the first episode,
Yeah.
You just hear the voice and see the back of his head, and it's like, a really creepy, like, British accent, evil bad guy kind of thing going for him. Which, by the way, David Tennant on Doctor Who. I love that show.
I mean, we like this episode of Supergirl.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, originally, I had my doubts. Some of the promo pictures I was kind of like...
Yeah, I mean, and they released the leaked pilot.
Oh, yeah. Which, I mean, as much as everyone was like, wow! It's then by the time the actual show came out, there was like, a bunch of people lost interest.
That's true.
Like, I know I didn't even watch it till the season was over and done with, weeks later. Because I was like, oh, I remember that pilot episode that I watched, 7 months ago, and can't even remember the name of anyone in it.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to, like create, like, publicity.
Yeah.
But in the end, it really
It just did the opposite.
But, I mean, down to, like, the actual part of the episode. I mean, there were actually a couple of really good scenes.
Yeah.
I like the scene when she jumps off the building because it really sets. It gives us a good image of like what the whole show will be about.
And it's very Superman-esque.
Yes.
Like, that's like exactly what, the Clark Kent in the comics would do. Be like, you don't believe me? Woo! Shing!
And personally, Wynn's my favorite character in that show. So.
Oh, yeah. The Toyman. As we were saying. Oh, speaking of villains.
The Lumberjack. I have to say, not my favorite villain, especially in the first episode. Why would you put such an insignificant character and then remake him into something even more insignificant? And in the pilot episode. Why?
Beats me. I mean, I don't even know why you would own an axe. Also, we have, the reluctant hero thing. I mean,
it's a little too cliche.
It's a little too cliche, and her sister is annoying. She's like, it's too dangerous. Okay, you fight aliens for a living, and then when she goes to fight a criminal, you yell at her because she's bulletproof?
By the
she's
way,
not gonna get hurt.
Yeah, she has superpowers and
yeah, it's like, well, I have a gun. Oh, well, I'm bulletproof. Oh, well, it sucks for you. Haha, I have a gun. I mean, for me, that part didn't make any sense. I'll have to say, I personally liked it, was the plane catch, how they did the whole, like, plane catch thing where it's like, we have to save, and then it was that whole controversy as, like, hero, or, but they did do the kind of cliche, like, thing, like, she got so much destruction. It's like, she saved a plane.
Avengers, Captain America Civil War much?
Oh, yeah. Batman vs. Superman, Captain America Civil War, 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I mean, everyone does that, and at this point it's like kind of just like, okay, just shut up and say congratulations.
Yeah,
like, are you kidding me? She just saved your lives.
Yeah. And I think the best part about that plane clash was because, surprisingly, it was like probably the best effects of that part of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing really, could compare to that scene.
When she, like, catches the plane and drags it, kudos to the special effects team there, because I'm
guessing they put most of their effort into that one scene.
And, yeah, it wasn't like some of the Flash episodes where he catches stuff.
Not great.
Where it's like, I catch something. It has no shadow and had no impact on my body. Because it literally bounced off me. But, sorry. Yeah, all in all, though, I would say it was a pretty good episode. I mean, the only reason we have it lower on our list is that it literally can't compare to some other of the specifically DC Comics TV shows where they took, because Supergirl, everybody knows the story of Supergirl. It's Superman's cousin. Like, as much as they tried to really do this as like a new, like, strong women type of view, it's like,
there's a lot of limitations on it.
It's a female carbon copy of Superman. I mean, there's only so much.
She's a copy of Superman, and they can't actually have Superman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When they're like the big man, or S, or hey, I'm a shadow, and she's like, my cousin can't have it. It's like, just say Clark. But now, actually, because she's owned by the CW, and they own the rights to, like, because Clark Kent's because of Smallville,
yeah.
I wonder if they're actually going to have him, like, play, like, an actual, like,
Superman.
Come in and be like, hey, by the way, I'm Superman.
It could be interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. So, I think, very clearly in...
Come on!
In 7th
There's
place...
a wild Squirtle!
In 7th...
I have to catch him!
In 7th place, we have Daredevil.
No! Do you mind?
Put away! Do you mind?
You know what? No, this is important, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, fine. We'll go back to the show.
It's Daredevil.
I'll admit, I like Daredevil. Especially like this pilot episode.
Yes. The origin, I thought they did a great job with this origin story. It was way better than, well, actually, everything is better than the Ben Affleck Daredevil. But it was way better than that.
I mean, come on, the Ben Affleck Daredevil. It was horrible.
It was atrocious.
This actually gives Daredevil its due.
It gives him a little, and it also gives him a little, like, character.
Yeah.
Like, it shows that, like, and it also ties in later to, like, it sets up with, like, the young kid and there's the dad, and then it sets up later they have almost, like, Arrow-style flashbacks where it's, like, him with his dad, like, learning to be, like, a fighter and, like, to just keep on going, right? And I have to say, another incredible part about this is the theme song and the title sequence. That's awesome,
I love it.
in my opinion. That was.
I know. I love how like the blood drips down because
Oh yeah.
it's like how he sees the world. We don't actually learn that's how he sees the world until like later on. But
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, like a world of fire,
Yeah.
so to speak. I mean, one thing
I think we could both agree on.
Yeah.
We're both, like, we love
Foggy.
Foggy here.
was awesome.
He's incredible.
Like,
He's so funny.
as we showed you guys, the cigar scene just is like, that's just hysterical. That's like he's bribing a cop through the cop's mom with a bag of like Cuban cigars.
It's just typical Foggy.
Yeah, it's like totally like, like this is how I roll kind of thing.
I mean, and Foggy is someone we can like root for.
Yeah, and it also, I'm actually not gonna say
Because
this
sometimes
spoiler
side
season
characters
two.
like Karen are hard to root for.
Yeah, where she gets in the weirdest
Yeah.
situations.
I mean, I get it. Someone just died, but I mean,
Who picks up a knife, covers their hands in bloods, and sends over a dead body? It's like,
really?
duh. I think the fighting was pretty good because it was like more realistic. It wasn't like
Yeah.
some super movies where they're like,
It was like
bang,
nitty
and then the
gritty.
guy
It was
just like
nitty
flies away. It was more of like a ninja fight scene or the scene where he's like, shoo,
Like when they're like
shoo.
flying to the air. No, it was like legit. Like he gets hurt, he gets bruised all the
And,
time,
he's, like,
and the people actually get back up when he punches him. But he still knocks them out. People are still
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Whoa, he knocked out 4 guys."
yeah. He's still like a ninja.
He's still sick. And I mean, I think what our favorite thing of this show, this pilot episode at least, was the intro to Fist. I mean, we love Fist.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
incredible.
That was such a like hidden villain thing where I think you hear his voice for like 10 seconds in the
Yeah.
first pilot episode, but he's like, the guy who controls him. He's totally the kingpin. Like he's the guy playing all the pieces in the background. Like he's not even. I mean, you see later in the season, it's not like he's like some like crazy super strong guy, but he's so like.
He's
like,
got such a, like
strategic.
an aura, and he's strategic. Like people like fear him.
Yeah.
That's his name because he made it like into like a scary thing. Like no one can say his name.
Yeah, it's very kind of like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You must not be named, sort of thing. I think the reason it's kind of lower on our list is because
Comparatively to the rest of the season,
the rest of the season was
it
incredible.
was incredible.
Like the end, especially the end where they
Yeah.
do the whole like finally he fights Fist kind of thing. That is so awesome. That the pilot episode, even though it was great, wasn't at the same caliber as the rest of the season,
Yeah.
which is fine. That's the whole point of a pilot episode. Like you're supposed to be trying out a new idea, which we get, but it wasn't up to the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we're gonna get to later. About
Yeah.
their pilot was so great and nothing else could compare it to it.
Yeah. Whereas this one, everything else was so great that the pilot was just kind of like, okay, here's your kind of superhero origin story, and it sets up the plot line for the rest of the thing. I have to say, sorry, I totally forgot about this. Leland Owlsey
Oh my
was
god.
a hoot.
Oh yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, I know. No. Oh, and all the Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, were they like because Naboo he comes back in season 2, as you guys might know, as like super immortal ninja assassin who
And
can
Owlsey's son's probably gonna come up back as like a super villain.
with weird hair.
Ooh, ooh. And and Madam, whatever her name is, the Chinese
Oh,
lady
yeah.
who's like weirdly
Madam
like
Gao?
making heroin or whatever.
Oh yeah, but that's Ty and Iron Fist right there.
So that should be interesting.
Mystical lands, which I don't see why mystical lands need heroin, but maybe they all think they're in a mystical land because they're doing heroin. But back to the point of the story. Yeah. So in all, Daredevil was great. I mean, I think everyone can pretty much agree with that. And it was the starter of it was just they had never done a Marvel TV show on Netflix before, like a Netflix original. So it started out something completely new,
Yeah.
and because of that, I will give it credit that it really got the jump start. Now they have the Defenders, Luke
Yeah.
Cage.
And they're gonna
Iron
tie it
Fist.
all in together, and it's gonna be hopefully really cool.
Yeah. So for number 6, I think DC's Legends of Tomorrow would come in just barely above Daredevil, though.
I think you're right there. I mean, they're very on the same caliber, like level wise. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty similar.
Oh yes,
like
very
not
similar.
similar in like their plot, I think, but similar in like how
Yeah.
good we interpret.
And the
things.
character development and
Yeah.
such. I'd say some of the points I will give for DC Legends tomorrow is, as you just saw, the beginning is like a new origin story. Like it's an origin story that's never been done.
It's very unique.
They've
I mean,
never had
they just mixed a bunch of comics together to create something that like no one had.
Yeah, no, this is
ever
like
seen.
totally original. Which is, as much as they stray from the comics, it's very cool.
Yes.
The fact that you don't actually know what happens,
Yeah.
and the characters aren't like like kind of like in the Flash, where it's like, well, you know, Barry and Iris are eventually gonna get married.
Yeah.
But in this one, you
get to see new minor characters. Like
No,
minor
I-
characters in other shows who we didn't really know that much, but
yeah.
now we get to see their depth. And
Oh yeah, like the Mick Rory and Leonard Snart,
yeah.
the team
I love their team.
thermometer. I don't even know what you're talking.
no,
One's-
yin and yang. Yin and
Oh
yang.
yeah, yin and yang. One's super hot, one's super cold. The Heatmeister and the Coldmeister. For anyone who watches old kids cartoons. Yeah, them in particular.
Yeah,
They
you guys
have-
just saw that scene right there.
The minivan.
It's so funny.
Which, yeah, I mean, they actually, not only do they get great character development for once, but they add a cool dynamics to the show, because not everyone is a good guy.
Mhm.
Like, and it's very kind of like, I mean, it's a tiny bit cliche, because, like, the whole, like, you know, now they're coming out with the Suicide Squad, where it's like bad guy turned good guy and has to help out. But at the same time, it's really cool to see that.
Yeah,
Like
everyone likes to see the bad guy that turns good.
Yeah, because it's like someone you can get behind.
Yeah.
I just want to throw in, speaking of bad guys, I liked the appearance of one Mr. Damien Dark. Where you
Oh
see
yeah.
him,
Part 2 pilot episode.
yeah, because
And that
yes.
nuclear fight scene that was
Oh,
actually
yeah.
incredible.
Also, for you viewers, it is a 2-part pilot episode. There's pilot part 1 and pilot part 2. So when we say part 1, part 2, it's technically the same episode, but if you're getting them on like Netflix or, well, not on Netflix yet, but like Amazon Prime and such, it is a 2-part. But yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, I like how they mix in Damien Dark here because I like Damien Dark a lot.
Yeah.
He's hilarious to me.
And then him with the whole like Mick Rory like back at each other. Like Mr. Master Race here. It's like it was pretty funny. And yeah, you were saying the fight scene.
Yeah, the team fight. I mean,
Team
that's
fight
pretty cool.
scene was crazy. With like they have like a kind of like flying Ant-Man. Then they've got the like Super Ninja Assassin, the Firestorm, 2 flying bird people. We will discuss flying bird people.
I
later.
mean, yeah, like we have to
Yeah,
say though, I mean, we
Oh.
like that they bring out minor characters and give them character development, but some
except
they don't.
for Hawkman and Hawker.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl, they don't really go in depth with them.
We're so
like,
sorry.
I mean, at all. Like Hawkman, I mean,
Hawkgirl
like,
was-
I'm not gonna hit on the actor because it's not really his fault. They just gave him really bad lines, and
Really bad lines. They also gave him a really bad storyline.
yeah,
Like the backstory. I'll say I love how they like. It's like a real good twist when they like meet their son from the past and they couldn't remember. Like that's a cool twist. But it's like, okay, if you say that you're in love with their from like the past lives one more time, I'm going to shoot you because I don't care. Like you know how he's always like, well, I remember more about the past lives than you. It's like just okay. Just
Move
forget
on,
about it.
move
Just
on,
move on.
okay?
Talk about living in the past. What is this? I know, seriously.
and another qualm I have with this is the fact that they create all their problems.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
even in the pilot
yeah,
episode
even
right
the-
here.
they like. It's like, whoops! I dropped a laser gun.
Whoopsie.
Like, how would you not realize it's like, hey, I have 2 laser guns. Oh, I have 1 laser gun. Meh. I'll figure it out later. Like, yeah. Yes, the plot left a little to be desired. Or as they even make a Star Wars reference about Kronos, one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
They even say he's pretty much like just practically Boba Fett, and
Yeah.
he is
I mean, that's further on in the season, but yeah, it has the same type of.
feel and
Feel.
even like costume.
So Gotham starts off with the pretty cliche origin story, which happens in basically every single Batman themed show, movie.
I deny that allegation.
So I mean, I have to ask you, Bruce. How did you feel seeing your parents die for like the millionth time?
It had no effect on me.
Are you sure?
Yes, because I'm Batman.
I mean, your dad tried to protect Martha. And
Martha! 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 Why do you say that name? Why? Why? Why?
So what do you have to say about the cliche origins then?
Oh, yeah, jeez. I see it was necessary. They had to, like, do, because it is Gotham and it's about Batman. But I see it's necessary to do, like, the origin of Batman, but it's like,
It's so typical.
at least they should have given a little, like, spice to it. Like, maybe show us who the one who shot him. Like, maybe show
Well, that
us.
was the whole point. I mean, wait 2 seasons.
Yeah, I know.
Spoiler alert, which we'll talk about later. But, yeah, we find out who kills him later on.
It wasn't even Joe Chill.
A long time later, really.
Yeah,
they
messed
waited
up
2
comics.
seasons. It took a while. But,
Yeah. With, like, 4 false arrests later.
I think I could say, though, that the Origins was not my favorite part of that episode at all.
No. The
It's
rest of
actually-
the episode was great.
The episode was actually...
But the origins were not like it was. I mean, I see where they had to do it.
Yeah.
But it was everyone knows it. 2 people walk through a dark alley, both get shot. The little kid screams in the ground, and then he becomes Batman.
But I mean, I liked Enigma. I like Enigma.
Oh, they did a great job setting up future villains.
They did.
Like they have one. They changed the name of. I mean, they kind of were pushing a little bit. They're instead of Pamela. You know how in the comics, Poison Ivy's Pamela Isley.
Yeah.
In this one, they were like, "My name is Ivy." Wink, wink. Nod, nod. It's like, no, we get it. We're not stupid. You don't need to literally change your name to a supervillain name.
Yeah, I know. They brought in. They introduced a lot of villains. in this
Yeah,
one.
what Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Enigma,
Penguin.
Penguin. Oh yeah, Penguin. Don Falcone.
Who's weirdly like good in this episode.
In this episode he's like, I respect a lot. It's like, then why did you shoot a bunch of people? Well, I only respect it when it applies to anyone who isn't me.
Yeah, I choose which parts of the
Yeah,
law
yeah, I
to
choose it.
respect.
I like certain parts of the law, like no J.
Yeah, and I think we meet Jim Gordon pretty well here.
Yeah, they do really got. He was the one thing I did like is in most of like old TV shows and comics, he's kind of like this like goofy like.
Bearded.
Yeah, he's like, he has the big
Glasses,
mustache with the big eyes, and he's like, oh, Batman, I couldn't find anything for myself, so I have to give it to you. But in this one, he's like, actually a
He's
detective.
like hardcore.
Yeah, and he was like formerly military, which he is in the comics, but they don't really get that point across.
Yeah.
And they really, well, not in the new comics, but, like, sorry. But, like, no, because now he's Batman. Or he was Batman. DC Comics reboot. But, no, but they really did a good job getting him across as an actual detective.
Yeah.
And
He could
he had a
freaking
great
fight.
partner.
He could freaking fight.
He had a great partner. Harvey Bullock. I just love that.
Yeah,
guy.
Harvey's my favorite part.
That was so funny. And he's like, there are rules! There are rules! Says the man hanging from a pig hook. Yeah, very menacing. I think all in all, though, Gotham was pretty good.
Yeah.
With a few, obviously, it's Batman. Everyone knows the Batman origin story. There's just going to be a few kind of like, yeah. But other than that, Gotham they did it really well.
Yeah, I think they brought in like a multitude of good characters here.
Yeah.
I mean, Alfred, Enigma,
Oh, I totally forgot.
Harvey,
Yeah.
I mean...
You guys saw the clip of that. I love.
Get your bloody ass down there.
Yeah.
Master Bruce, get your bloody ass down from it.
And also, he's the son of one of the Doctor Who characters. One of the doctors, the third one. And he looks just like him, which, sorry, total side note, but that just reminded me of it. But I think that Sean Pertwee is a great actor
Yeah,
to play Alfred.
Definitely. One last thing. Falcone, he hints at the court of owls in the very end.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
I didn't even notice until the second time I watched it. I thought it was pretty cool. Easter egg.
Mail time. The mail's here.
Mail time! This is a time on our show where we go through all the emails we got this week and choose the best questions.
We do.
This week we have one email that we got from Alyssa in California. Let's see what she had to say. Alyssa asks us, Alyssa, how do time remnants work? I was watching The Flash and didn't get why one version would die and the other was fine. Well, Alyssa, that is a question that rattled us all for a couple episodes. It turns out that the explanation is the fact that one version So let's say here's the Flash on your normal timeline, right? What happens is he goes back and he jumps back to here. And he makes sure that this Flash doesn't ever jump back. So,
Therefore,
you
there will
have
be two
two
flashes
flashes.
because the one never goes back in time.
so he's a remnant of the original timeline, not the new one. You see what we mean? And that's why, if this one dies, it's this one from a different timeline, not the original. I think that is the best explanation anyone could give.
By the way, we know this so well because we've already solved the Speed Force in our spare time.
Why do you think we have so much extra time to make this TV show? Because we zip around and do everything else in about 30 seconds. Okay, that's end for mail time. Thank you, and keep emailing.